Welcome to the All Comfort Services Home Comfort Zone podcast. I'm your host, Teresa. I'm the marketing manager at All Comfort Services. Our podcast explores everything you need to know about your home's heating, cooling, indoor air quality, plumbing, and electrical systems. We share expert insights, practical tips, and engaging conversations with customers and businesses to provide solutions, ideas, and advice. Let's get started. Today I have with me Rich Haith, who's Master Plumber at All Comfort Services. Welcome.
Thank you, Teresa, for having me.
Well, Rich, tell me what Master Plumber means.
I started out as a helper. Then I went into the apprenticeship program. Then once I achieved the apprenticeship program, then I got my journeyman's license. And after I had my journeyman's license, I wanted to go a little higher. And then I applied for my Master Plumber's license, and I achieved that. That's one of my personal goals I wanted to have.
And you've been in the plumbing field for over 30 years?
Yes.
So today we wanted to talk about all things plumbing for homes. Tell us a little bit about, like, when you're coming to a home, let's try to envision it for a customer from the outside to the inside and the basement. What are some of the things that people should know about?
Usually if I'm the first time at a customer's house and they've never had a plumber, then I explain them, the operation of the water heater, the water softener, the sump pump if they have one. And I go through their kitchen appliances, their washing machine, educate them on washing machine hoses are usually good for 5 years. They're stamped right on there. They could cause floods. And same as the dishwasher, depending on the connections. And I go through their sump pump and explain them the operation of their sump pump. I show them where the emergency shutoff valves are in their house. So if they do have a leak, they at least know where the shutoff valves are. Most new homeowners who buy a house don't know where the emergency shutoff valves, and that's one of the important things. If you have to shut it off, and you need to know where the shutoff valves are located in the house.
So that sounds like some of those things are in an inspection or a safety inspection or a whole home inspection.
Yes, they are. If you haven't had an inspection in your house ever, I suggest at least you get one plumbing inspection done where we do a complete whole house inspection, review everything with you, note anything that's bad or needs to be replaced. Like your water heater, we notice that it's not venting properly, then we can say, carbon monoxide test on it and then check it all out for you. Just be sure it's on a safety. We are looking for safety of your house to prevent any damage to your house or your health or being.
So I'm sure you run across homes that are brand new to homes that are over 100 years old. What are some things that homeowners should be aware of with different types of ages of homes?
Older homes have a lot more issues because they have older pipes, copper tubes, galvanized piping. All that should be looked at, inspected, or replaced or upgraded. Newer homes all have the newer piping. They just need to be inspected, looking for water leaks or possible damage. They all occur. You never know when a water leak is going to happen. A brand new house that's 5 years old can have a pipe burst for no reason. It's just something, manufacturer defect or something like that will cause it to burst in.
So when a home is built, all the piping and everything is put in place, and then there are different appliances that people have, hot water heaters, water filters. What are some of the most important components of the house, and what should people be looking for to keep an eye on?
The more important thing is the hot water. Everybody loves to have hot water. And that'd be just check and look at your water heater, at least, going into the basement, looking at your mechanical room, looking for any signs of leaks or anything, keep an eye on that stuff. And if you're going to be gone for a long time, then maybe you need to shut the water off to the house to prevent any water damage. They do have also water alarms that you can install, automatic water shutoff valves. So if your house detects a high flow water, it shuts the main water valve off and then prevents any further damage to the house.
What are some signs that you mentioned that there's leaks? Where should they be looking? Where should homeowners be looking for these leaks on the water heater?
Usually around the water heater, you notice a little rust stain, a little water leak. Usually just a sign of water leaking around there. Or your water coming to your faucet, you keep going downstairs to turn the water temperature up on your water heater. That's a sign that the water heater's on failing too.
What does it mean when sometimes when you're washing your hair and it's just not subsing, or you're washing your hands and it's just not subsing? What does that mean?
It usually means that the water isn't soft and the softener is not working properly. Either the softener is using too much salt or not enough salt, or there's just no salt in the softener. The newer softeners nowadays use anywhere between 2 to 4 bags of salt per year, depending on the water quality coming into the house, how they're set up, how they're programmed. And that's all done by a professional plumber or water conditioning company. And then everything has a chart where you live, so we can determine how we have to set the water up.
Because of minerals are causing a lot of this buildup.
Hard water.
So what are some ways to know if you need to replace your water softener?
Usually by a water softener test. Most water softeners are good up to 15 years. Some last a little longer. At ages, they start to break down inside the water softener. The chemical reactions don't work as well, and that's a sign that they need to be replaced. Signs are also using too much salt, or you're not using any salt at all, and you just fill the softener up, and next week you're refilling it again. So it's just dumping the salt down the drain.
And you've been trained with the City of Madison Water Utility with the SaltWise program. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's a salt reduction program to help save putting salt into the lakes and the streams and stuff. So they got to keep the number down. If they don't keep the number down, then they have to put salt mineralization equipment inside the waste treatment plant, in which all the costs will go on to the consumer.
So from what I understand, when we put water down the drains, it goes to a water treatment plant. None of the salt, if it's the water softener salt, none of that salt can be pulled out of the system. It goes directly into lakes and streams. So I can see why that's really important to update your water softener.
Yes.
And what are some other things that homeowners can do to watch out for in their home? So for example, you said even new homeowners, their unit might be 5 years old and things can happen. What are some things, like for example in the fall, that people can do, and in the spring?
In the fall, just remove your garden hoses off your outdoor faucets. You leave them on, they can freeze and break, and you want to be sure the hoses are disconnected from the outside faucets. Be sure they're frost-free faucets. If they're not, then have us come out there and look at it to determine what they are. Because some of them you have to shut a valve off inside the house, disconnect the hose, and be sure the system gets drained on that. Other thing is just checking underneath your cabinets and sinks every once in a while. Checking your wash machine hoses, be sure they're draining properly. Food waste disposals too, be sure you're feeding it just the amount of water and not too much food where it backs up or cause problems in your drain system.
What are some things that people could do with their garbage disposal to keep it clean?
Usually you can put in, fill the sink up 3/4 full of hot water, then pull the plug, and then what we call scouring the pipes, the drains, and scours the pipe. Good way to do it is both sinks. Fill both sinks up, fill it with warm water, pull the plugs, and let them go down. It causes a tornado effect in your sinks. It shows it's draining really well, and you get the nice tornado effect, and then it scours your pipes. It's like when you flush your toilet, you see how it flushes your toilet. That's what it does when you fill the sinks up. Once a month is what I recommend that you do on your kitchen sink if you have a garbage disposal.
And when's a good time to put your garden hoses back on in the spring?
When there's no more frost or freezing temperatures. If they're looking at the schedule and it says the month of April is supposed to be 40 degrees, it's a good time you can start putting your hoses on, or when you're going to start your gardening in the springtime.
Sometimes people want to wash their pets or their cars, and it would be nice to have warm water. Is that difficult to do, to have an outdoor faucet have warm water?
Nope. We can hook it up in the garage or on the outside faucet, and it's perfectly labeled where it has warm water. And so if you want to wash your car or your pets.
What are some energy saving and water saving tips that you can give people?
Keep your thermostat low on your water heater. There are other programs like the HERE program, Focus on Energy, We Energies. They all have updated water heaters that can also save you money. Higher efficiency water softeners, water heaters, tankless water heaters, like 94% efficient, and that will help save you money on your water heater costs, gas costs.
And what are some of the other, for example, how do you know if a toilet's leaking?
Your high water bill, usually the city of Madison, or actually all the cities now, sends out a letter saying that you have a high water bill. Then you actually would be able to put food color dye into the tank to see if it leaks, or you can buy some tablets to put into the tank, and if your bowl turns blue, then you know you have a leak and then you have to fix the toilet. A plumber will be able to look at your meter and then do a visual test on it to find out where the leak is. Usually what we call clocking the water meter. We put a mark on it and we watch the little dial turn around, or numbers depending on the meter, to determine if there's a leak in the house. If it doesn't move within 30 minutes, that kind of tells us there's not a leak, and it could be another source. Like maybe the water softener is running way too long, like it's programmed for maybe 2 hours and is running for 4 hours. Or you have an April air that's running longer than it should be. Some of those we won't be able to determine because they're not on at the time when we're checking the meter.
And what can people do if there's an emergency? Water's leaking and it's gushing. What can they do?
All fixtures actually have an emergency shut-off valve. If you're able to shut the fixture off, great. If not, then you go down in your basement and then shut off the main water supply to the whole house. Then you can call for a plumber to come out to fix it, diagnose it, and maybe he'll be able to get the water back on for you. So maybe able to use your toilets, and maybe not the hot water side, or if it's the cold side, maybe you'll be able to get that fixed right away for you. Then you'll be up and running, and I'll do an inspection, and maybe there's other issues that what caused the pipe to burst. See what did that. Was it the cold weather, or was it just that the piping in the house is old?
How has the plumbing industry changed since you started working in it?
Well, when I first started in it, it was a lot of soldering and gluing, and now with all the new technology as they come across, there's less soldering and more of it's press fittings, pro press, shark bite fittings, some gluing. It's just really changed where it's a lot easier to do your job.
Last question. What piece of advice would you give homeowners to know about their plumbing system?
To have it professionally looked at. A lot of times when they don't have the knowledge, or they didn't know about certain things about their house, and they didn't know that they had a sump pump, and they basically been flooded out and they didn't know they had a sump pump. It's just an education thing that, have us out there, look at all your plumbing and review it with you and say this is what needs to be done, or this does not need to be done right away. Give them a list of options where, none of it needs to be fixed right now, but it should be on your radar that will give you a cost, and within a year or two, maybe you want to consider getting it fixed. But all your plumbing should be looked at least once or twice in a 10-year period. Every 3 to 5 years, I would say, have your plumbing inspected. Even if you bought a brand new house, within 5 years, have it inspected just in case something may pop up, or signs. Usually a sign of a leak is a little rust or a little calcium buildup on a piece of pipe that was not there, even on a brand new house, and you can say, oh, this was a potential, this may be a leak or something that needs to be addressed at that time.
That sounds like great advice. Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.